you have to look for a postage stamp or what have you. And it costs you only 3 cents more on top of the regular postage. So right now in Canada, it costs you 45 cents. If you offer them a prepaid envelope, it'll cost you 48 cents. But the difference, when you get this envelope, you know there's an order inside there. I mean, a lot of times you see all these postage paid envelopes. You say, how can this company afford all this postage? But they only pay for the ones that actually come back. And what's in there is a check or an order in many cases there. So again, it's something you may want to consider as a convenience. And to ensure an order in many cases there. So what I want to do is walk you through some steps, some considerations in doing up an offering, both for mail order and direct mail. So the first one here is to try to identify a product that has wide market appeal. The opposite is to find a niche or specialize in a certain industry there. But the more potential product, the more likely you realize additional sales there. Make sure the product has useful and desirable benefits. Again, it's simple, but it's often overlooked. Illustratable, again, there's no saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and it's very true. You can have the best copy, hire the best copywriter, but a picture, in many cases, you leave it to the customer's imagination to what this product is going to do for them. Longevity and seasonality. Again, this is something that you have to keep in mind. So the product you choose, make sure that it can sustain an ongoing business and there is a market for it. Because a lot of people get into products that are sort of novelty. It's here today, it's hot today, but it's gone tomorrow. And you don't want to invest all these resources into setting up a business, a distribution, only to find out that 2 years ago, 2 years down the road, there's going to be no market for this product there. So make sure, try to look down the road. Will this business sustain itself 2 years, 5 years down the road? And then that will answer your question if it is a seasonal type. Now, not to say you can't capitalize on seasonal products there to complement maybe existing products or what have you there, but it shouldn't be, you're not looking for a full-time income from the seasonal type of product. Markup, because of the distribution that we're talking about, unlike in retail, it's sitting there where the customer can just pick it up and pay at the cash. We have to pay for shipping, handling, packaging, so there's additional expenses involved there. So the product should have above average markups and should be able to sell at those products. An example with Northern Response, who sell TV products, we look at minimum 3 to 5 times our cost, and that's the price we have to set our product at. So we sell one of these exercise equipments. If we're selling it for, say, $30, our cost probably is about $5 as an example. And that's the kind of markup you need when you're taking in considering the packaging, the shipping that's involved to get it to the final customer there. Pricing, again, psychological barriers to customer resistance. Again, there's two. We're talking households or consumers, and then there are businesses. With consumers, most of the time, anything less than $100, probably if you ask for the check and you've got enough copy there to convince them, they have no problem sending you a check for $100. If it's more than $100, you probably need a lot more supporting sales material to convince them that it's going to cost you $500. Or another way is 2 payments. 2 easy payments of $100. That might be a little easier for them to absorb. But be aware of that. There is a psychological resistance. Also, try to maximize your return on profitability. A good example, one of our students was importing a line of calendars. These are Sunshine Girl calendars from the UK. And he imports about 20,000 of these, and he sells it to all these convenience stores. And he was selling this for $9.95. And he had no problem selling. He'd import them every October, and by January they're all sold out. And when we sat down and looked at his product and his pricing there, and at the end we decided $12.95 was the way to price it. And there was no resistance. He actually sold just as many at $12.95, but he was making $30,000 more for that same identical product. So again, you don't necessarily want to give the product away, but at the same time, you don't want to outprice yourself out of the marketplace. And the classic example of this is IBM. I mean, up until 5-10 years ago, they were the world's largest manufacturer of computers, but they were charging a premium for the use of a computer. All the no-names came around who worked on the same operating system. They would sell the same system for $1,000 where IBM was charging $3,000 for. They literally, I think they're in 3rd place now because of that. They've lost half their customers. They realized that they were being taken advantage of beyond their, and they do have good service, and that's what, usually you can only be good at one thing. In IBM, they didn't say they were the cheapest, but they're the best in service. So you pay for service. So be aware, don't outprice yourself, because you might be inviting competition, and that's what happened to IBM. A lot of times you like that spread, and if you're the only one out there, you could take advantage of it, but customers know very quickly that you took advantage of them as well. So you want to price it competitive to keep other guys out unless they come in at the same level that you're prepared to invest into. Quality and reliability. I really believe long-term, you're better to offer a good quality product than cheap products. At the end, again, people will pay more, but knowing that there's value and there's something important to the product there. Simplicity, stay away from complicated products. And again, that's because of the offering. In mail order business, you can't get into really complex products or technical products. Although there are a lot of mail order companies, like Dell, they actually eliminate their entire sales force, and they're selling computers strictly by mail. Unique, again, the advantage to mail order, and if you're one of these guys who do have only one product, most of the chain stores probably won't even look at you because they want to see that you have a line of products there before they take you on as an account. So again, mail order lends itself that you can actually take control of the distribution using the mail order as a method for distribution. Shipping and packaging, again, there's a whole seminar on this area you should be aware of. Understand the way you ship your product, whether you use Canada Post, some of these private couriers, you can put fragile neon lights this side up or what have you. These guys don't read. Again, they're all unionized anyway, so they take your box and throw it in the back of the truck. By the time it gets to the customer, it's probably broken. So you really have to take that into consideration of the people who handle your stuff there, and so make sure you have the right packaging materials to insulate it or what have you there. Repeat sales, again, ideally we'll find a product that's consumable, not necessarily edible, but something that people will keep coming back to buy from you there. So again, like this, I told you we're selling this product through the shopping channel. It's called the Fire Warden. But it's a fire retardant blanket, but it's only one-time use. If you have a small fire on the stove or what have you, once you throw it on, you can't wash it and try to reuse it. So again, you're looking for something that is consumable that at the end they have to come back to you to reorder. A friend of mine right now is setting up a mail order vitamin business. Apparently he's worked with this doctor who has a very high potency, because most of the vitamins that we buy at the store level, we actually it just flows right out of us. So these one actually absorb right into our system, and apparently it works a little better. But he set up a whole mail order business just to sell high quality vitamins. But repeat sales, it's amazing. It's sort of like these Jenny Craigs there that you pay initially $300 for a consultation, then they give you a whole prescription of foods that you're supposed to eat. And the vitamins, incredible markups there, but you have to set aside to charge it right to your credit card, $30 a month. And again, it's a nice little residual once you have a customer on pre-authorization. Stable supply, again, you always have a primary supplier in place that you have a commitment to, but again, certain controls you don't have, it might be a strike or what have you, a delay in shipment. You want to have someone that you can fall back on as a secondary supplier, otherwise your business is literally put on hold or shut down. So always be aware of other potential suppliers, and this will always allow you to make sure you are also getting the best price from your supplier. Money back guarantee. Again, this is something to keep in mind depending on the product. Though customers want it yesterday, depending on the ordering system, the distribution, delivery, or what have you there. Don't promise them if you can't deliver it within the time periods. And if the product's coming from overseas, there's no point telling them that you're going to ship it by the end of the week, because right now you might just be using what we call customer financing. You run a test ad and you get all these orders, but you don't have any inventory. You're just trying to see if there's a market for it. So you take the customer's check and then you place the order with the supplier, but it may take 4 to 6 weeks. And this is not unusual. Again, who's at Leon's and some of these major furniture stores, that's what they do. They always have one showroom bed, furniture set, dining room set, and they say, if you want one, leave $50 deposit. By next week or by the end of the month, we'll order one in for you. And it's not unusual, but that's what you're trying to do, is start off with a sample, take some orders, and knowing what the lead time for delivery to your customers. But the main thing is, if you are running behind in shipping, there's nothing more frustrating when the customer is waiting for the product and you don't keep them up to date that there's a back order situation or what have you. So you tell them, hey, and in the US, there is a 30-day law. The Federal Trade Commission said that if you're taking money from a customer, if you cannot deliver within 30 days, you must refund their money or at least give them the option of returning it. In Canada, we don't have such legislation, but it's just part of the whole customer service deal. In designing your ad, again, we're going to look at mail order and then look at direct mail. The first part to a mail order ad, as we said earlier, is the actual headline. And the headline is the part that often gets the customer's attention. And it's sort of the lead into the rest of the copy there. Now, these are sort of phrases or words that we've come up, but it's actually not that we've come up, but in research have been proven to work. Not to say if you come up with something different that we haven't heard about, may not be effective. But if you're looking for something that's proven to work, these are something to at least consider at the beginning. The lead-in, again, you want something, what's my friend always calls it, cute. He always calls it cute headline. So you may want to be a little creative with your offering there. The sell copy, again, like I said earlier, there are different theaters selling. It's not always a pricing issue. It's not always the cheapest product. But if you can sell quality, you can sell service. Again, you can charge a premium for your product, not necessarily just on price. Give reasons why. Again, so you want to reinforce the actual offering there. Invoke a sense of urgency. Now, again, in this area, what we may want to do is offer a small discount. We may want to throw in a bonus. You may want to say for the first 10, they may get something extra out of this as long as they book the order. So again, it's something that you've created in order to get them to take action. Endorsements through third parties, again, it's very effective. It's not you telling your customer how great your company is or your product is. It's now a third company that they respect saying, yes, this company is recommended to do business with, without really saying that. So the Better Business Bureau is one of these organizations. They're a nonprofit, but if you recall, Paul Tuz took $1 million salary. But a lot of people still put a lot of faith in the Better Business Bureau. The Canadian Direct Marketing Association, again, the advantage or anyone in the mail order business, this is a reputable organization to join because here you agree to a code of ethics that you're going to operate. And I get frustrated because my grandmother passed away about 3 years ago. She still gets all this junk mail, and it's kind of bad, but with the Canadian Direct Marketing Association, you can actually call them up and say, take her off the list. So, but no-name companies are non-members. They'll do this. And I had an experience this morning. I had a very good associate of mine, Eric Guilford. He faxed me an ad. He's doing a training seminar on small business as well, and we've been trying to do some work together. Now, he faxed it to me, and I find that very irritating because I get all these junk faxes. If he had sent it to me by mail, I would have taken it seriously and look at his offering. I told him it wasn't personal. It's just I feel it's a big invasion when they send me a fax. And it's sort of the same thing here. So if you join credible organizations, people will look up to you or frown on you, depending on who you belong to. Testimonials, beyond recognized organizations, the best support is from customers. So once you get 3 or 4 customers, some of them get so excited they'll come up to you and tell you how great it changed their life or what have you there. So ask them, write it down. And again, there's nothing better than getting an endorsement from a customer for your product there. Especially if you have a service business, because you haven't got a whole lot to hang on to. So a lot of times, initially, you may want to volunteer some work for some major corporations that are known in the industry there. Then you can show, John, you've done work for ABC, so there's no question you can do work for their company. So endorsements always work. Testimonial, sorry. Money back guarantee. This is a cardinal rule. If you're in the mail order business, somewhere you're going to have to offer a qualified money back guarantee. It might require filling a 100-page questionnaire to get their money back, but somewhere you have to offer some peace of mind that they can get their money back. Special promotions, again, it's statistically been proven that if you do offer than you don't, you'll probably get about a 15 to 30% higher response rate. It should not take away from the offering. If anything, it should complement. We used to sell a product called Zero Pain. It was endorsed by Frankie Avalon. And we would just throw another 2 ounces. They would buy a 5-ounce bottle, but they bought now would throw another 2 ounces. So again, it's something that you may want to look at in complementing the existing product. Right now, again, I'm selling another product to the shopping channel. It's a bunch of magnets to provide healing, natural healing. And the person who owns the rights to this is a guy named Paul Monet, who last year, he had the #1 infomercial called the Stimulator. And it was just a little spark, like a fire, what do you call it, a barbecue starter type of thing, and just zap some energy into your system there. Anyways, what he was throwing was an extension, so that if you had to sort of zap the back of your back and you can't reach, this extension would allow you to do it. So it was sort of a bonus that he would throw in if you ordered today or what have you there. But again, bonuses and promotions definitely work than if you were not to include it as part of the offering. In designing, again, in the space ad there, if you can afford it, you will include a picture of your product. But you can start as easy as a small classified ad. If anything, that's where you want to start, because I find them actually to be more effective, and you're only paying for the line or for each character. And with 800 numbers, you don't have to go into detail of all the other order form process or what have you there. If you are going to use a picture, the tip there is to try to show the product in use. And it's a shame because these some of the most successful companies out there, and they just take a picture of the product, and it looks so boring, cold. But if you can actually show, it may not even have anything to do with the person in the ad,